Okay, let's see if this is working. It should be streaming to YouTube. Here we go. Okay, we're set up. We're rolling. So after last time playing, when my computer crashed due to unstable overclocking, I was pushing it a little too hard. Brought it back down. Should be stable now. Also, I don't have any games that push the threshold, so I don't actually need overclocking for anything. Okay, haven't quite finished this. This is my new rocket. There we go. Just checking some other things. This is... Oh, those aren't lined up. Okay. I just kind of threw this together. It's completely untested. I don't know if it has enough thrust to even get into orbit. I don't have enough science to unlock the larger landing gear. I just have a robotic controller. This does not need to get back off the ground. That's a completely different engineering problem. Oh, those are still not lined up. That looks better. I've noticed some parts absolutely refuse to line up. Support beams. I went with the larger ejectors because they'll throw off. I did a few satellite missions just to build up some money and some science, so I was able to get these large parts. Let's see, 50%. Yeah, I actually don't know how well this is going to do. And I just want to have a look at the solar system map for a second. Kerbin, obviously. I'm trying to not delete any of my satellites or debris, and I want to just see how clustered I can get the solar system. Wow, that is a far out orbit they want me to do. One of the mods I have increases the number of contracts you have, makes some more useful. But they didn't put in a wide enough margin for error on the satellites. You have to get within like 0.1% of the numbers they want, which is really hard. Hold on one second. Okay, just had to answer a message. I know that makes it great for watching videos. Okay, let's just test it. Oh, that's... Got the RCS, but the solid boosters do not have very much swivel. Let's actually see how much they have. It's not listing any thrust vectoring, while these... I'm not seeing it. I'm being blind. Vector range, 2 degrees. And solid... Actually, the solid boosters on the shuttle can vector. I've seen it. I've actually watched them do it. I used to build them just 50 miles north of here. Well, if the vectoring doesn't work, though, go with a winglet for control. My biggest problem using solid boosters to get off the ground. The biggest problem using solid boosters to get off the ground is the control. Oh. Got some more viewers coming in shortly. Before I launch this, I'm actually gonna... I'll lollygag, I'll buy time. I got messages from people who want to watch this launch that aren't here yet. So we'll revert to the assembly. We'll exit. Dang it, what was I going to... Oh, yes. I want to get some of these. Giving aircraft a purpose, advanced progression. Hey, I turned off tourism and store. I might need to turn station on soon. Okay, I don't have a problem with any of these. Tourism is good for money, but I like to turn those off. Satellite. Again, satellite's just a good money grab. What does upgrading this get me? Unlimited contracts. Well, I'm never doing more than 7. Not yet. Not doing enough space hangar. I can enter the flagpole. I've never seen that before. Oh, I was going to recovery. There we go. Sweet. I actually do want to activate this recovery one. I watched a part crash into the ground earlier. It's like, damn, if I had better recovery on, I could have got more out of it. It cost the... Okay. 190,000. I got 1.5 million. Satellite contracts pay quite well. I believe the only moon-based contract I have right now... Oh, not satellite. Transmit or recover scientific data from the surface of the moon. Well, I got antennas, at least I think. That would be bad to leave without an antenna. No antenna and no power generator. Good thing I didn't launch yet. Would really hate to get to the moon and then forget that. Okay, and close. Yeah, I was doing a slightly different layout before, and I had the antenna and power generator on the different layout, which I obviously am not doing anymore. Funky. It's not exactly aerodynamic, but it looks interesting. Well, then let's see if we can make it more aerodynamic. I want to say it's in here. Oh, that's small diameter. I wonder if I even have any large diameter fairings. I might not. Yeah, I haven't unlocked the large diameter fairings. I guess that means I'm just going to have to go slow through the atmosphere and then fast once I break it. It's not a lot of power generation, but it just needs to survive long enough to transmit data from the moon. Actually wanted to get the nice big solar cells, but they cost like 160 science. I've got 80. Let's do our pre-flight. Set as target. Get the wheel ready. Now, I don't know if the solid boosters have enough thrust. They have double the thrust of the smaller boosters, but I cut their thrust in half, so they're equal. I guess... Oh, RCS. And let's go. Yep, this is going to be a long one. Might need to revert and increase the maximum thrust on the solid boosters. Yeah. You can actually see the little RCS thrusters going. Full picture isn't being straight. Oh, it does that. This... There we go. Yeah, the new broadcast software I'm using is uncooperative like that. Okay, this is not going to work, so obviously the lower your thrust on the solid boosters... I was thinking that one set of boosters wouldn't be enough. I was going to double up. But now we have the whole screen visible. Close that. And I do have the YouTube gaming page open, so I can see comments there if anyone leaves one. Oop, don't need that, don't need that. That's all I need. Moon's over here. Oh, wait. Bottom and rider cut. Yeah, I know that. Oh yeah, there's like a 30-second delay between what I'm doing and what you're seeing. See, where is that at? Yeah, it's not actually that much of a delay. Okay, I guess... Let's see how well this does. I upped the power to 2/3 instead of 50%. Would like to save the liquid fuel as long as possible. Oh man, this controller doesn't have retrograde and prograde. I swear I chose the better controller. You know what? I'm still not happy with it. I like to get off the ground rather quick. Also, let's see about these. Stability cyst, and that's the one that has the retrograde and the prograde. Come on. For surface landings, having the retrograde is unbelievably useful. Does this really only have one connector? Yeah. Why am I not able to attach the antenna? There, it works. If you look at it sideways, it actually will pop too. Ah yes, now we were having a problem with thrust. Let's get another decoupler. 4 of them even. I'm not really concerned about price right now. This is more of a brute force method. Those will burn at 100%. These will burn. I'm actually going to put them back to 50%. Well, no, 2/3 is probably the best place to be. bumping the mic. The hope is the 2/3 still lasts longer. It should. The Mun Unlander. 3rd time's the charm. Or the 7th time will be the charm. Who knows? Let's see. All the pre-flight stuff. Now we've got more options for the stability assist. Let's actually minimize the thrust right off. And we want RCS and go. And we're not using any of our valuable liquid fuel, only our expendable solid rubber and ammonium perchlorate. Oh, and aluminum. Plus a bunch of little additives. Yeah, solid fuel is actually surprisingly simple. You can see the RCS fire just a little. I want to start just a tiny bit of gravity turn. Wow, burning 187 kilograms of solid fuel? How would you measure solid fuel? Now 110. And we're still accelerating up without using any liquid fuel. Alright, this should all turn out. Let's actually switch to the prograde. It's going to start burning through electricity a little bit. We're not yet using our liquid engine, so we're not generating electricity. The turbo pumps are typically hooked up to power generators. Almost out of solid fuel. 5 seconds left. Wow, this engine is not powerful enough to keep accelerating. We're actually slowing down. This is the most powerful engine I have. Oh, come on. Specific impulse, no. Thrust, almost 650 kilonewtons. Let's see. Well, the thing is, we are still adding energy. And so our apoapsis is climbing, even though we're slowing down. And now we're speeding back up. We've lost enough weight. Gravity is getting weaker. And now we're measuring orbital velocity. Let's not waste the RCS right now. Wow, dark side of the planet kind of sucks for sightlines. Is that actually the stage? It is. Never the actual stage numbers. Somehow this is going smoother than expected. Kind of. I'm going full throttle here. And I feel like it's leveling out a little faster than I would like. And I'm not actually happy about not being on the equator. And here's why I like having reaction wheels. Probes have such bad gyros in them naturally that you want a reaction wheel. Here we go, now we're getting somewhere. I want to circularize about 77. I do not have Planet Shine. I was trying to remember the name of the last one and I couldn't remember. And we're almost out of fuel. I don't actually know if this thruster's even powerful enough. Let's go perfectly prograde. I want to save as much of that fuel as possible, but yeah, that's not gonna be quite enough, I don't think. Dang it. That means I need a little more something. Yeah, orbital velocity's closer to 2,000 meters per second, and we're at 1,400. I just don't think I had enough Delta V. I am lifting a lot of weight. This is not an ideal for returning from the moon. I have an idea. It's not perfect, but we'll give it a shot. This was the, yep, that was the first part. I'm thinking add one more stage and augment the solid boosters with the liquid at the start. This thruster was really just for long burns in space. I didn't want to use it to get to orbit. Oh, that might work. I had some part, and since it was so dark, I'm gonna wait till day to do the launch. Where is it? There we go. Oh, that's not quite right. Dang it, I want something. Oh, that's way small. Yeah, that goes from small to tiny. I swear I saw, maybe I just don't have it unlocked yet, but I saw something that lets you attach several smaller motors or smaller items. Oop. Yeah, save and continue. Where were those? Dang it. There's my large fairing. That's 160 science. Miniaturization seems like the wrong way for this. We need to enlarge. Nope. Specialized construction seems like the path it would be under. Large volume containers. Bicoupler. Dang it, okay. I really did not want to lift a second Rhino engine up to altitude. Alright, I may have made a mistake there. Yeah, it didn't. I guess we're going back a couple models. Oh, that actually looks right. Hex. Yeah, that's the right one. Hit save. Let's get rid of these. Actually, want that still. Move you there. Make it thirsty. Skippers are expensive and heavy. I was wanting something that would let me put 4 smaller engines or 3 smaller engines in a grouping. But if I augment the solid boosters with the liquid booster, with the liquid engine, it should work. No, don't do those at the same time. All 3 of those, and those. That's the wrong order. Yeah, always double check this. You don't want to get halfway up and break your rocket in part before it's ready. Boom. 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 Okay. That is tall. I would have liked to make it wider. Probably. I want to see how stable this is. If it's not stable, I'll go to asparagus staging. Hopefully the next one works. Well, let's... Almost clicked the wrong thing. Okay. How's our power consumption? Have 800 power to work with. I made sure to put lots of batteries in. I didn't know if I'd be landing potentially on the day or night side of the moon, or how long it would take me to broadcast all the science. Yikes. Sun is on the rise. But we have enough power to last at least a night on Kerbin. How much did that change power consumption? Oh, power production now. Sweet. Let's give this a try. Let's start with full beans. And I know I didn't put the struts back on. Turn RCS on, since those solid boosters have no thrust vectoring. Wow, that's leaning a bit more. Huh, with the thrusters actually pointed in like that, should act as stabilizing. It's less efficient, but it would stabilize the flight. Doing little adjustments. And actually, asparagus staging is probably smarter in the future, since we can just blow off the fuel tanks. In fact, I'm probably going to do that next time. Just like how cheap that the solid boosters can be. Can be, once you start getting into these big ones. They're actually cheap for how much power you get. If you just need raw lifting, just need some muscle. And again, we're slowing down, but we're going much faster this time. Last time we started slowing down at like 350, now we're going 550. We've already burnt through, what, half our fuel? Ooh, 2/3, almost down to a quarter. But we have another Rhino waiting. Wow, the autopilot's a little jittery. That's why if you don't have electric generator... Oh, wobble. You don't have an electric generator of some kind, using the automatic prograde and retrograde is not always a good idea. Wow, almost at desired apoapsis. Let's turn off RCS. Amazing! It separated it without exploding. I'm actually going to turn down the power. No sense in wasting energy getting at a higher altitude than we really need to. Let's adjust this. Increase our angle of attack. Turn RCS on. I've been flying rockets for quite a while without RCS. Having it again is so nice. Just didn't have the science to unlock it. One of the missions I have remaining is the rendezvous in orbit, which is so hard without RCS. You have to spin the whole rocket around to get the engine pointed the right way. Alright, we're going full beans. We're passing the apoapsis. I'm gonna go off of the prograde just a little. Come on, stay above 70,000. The problem is this ship is really heavy. Dang it. Not enough. It's a really heavy ship. Okay. I think this officially means I am past the era of solid boosters. I like solid boosters. They're very useful. Let's just have a look how much kick they have. So this one has thrust in atmosphere at sea level, 250 kilonewtons. This has almost 600 kilonewtons at sea level, 670 kilonewtons in vacuum. This engine has 568 kilonewtons at sea level. It costs 5,000. This costs half the price for a little more thrust. Now we don't need the fins. Okay, time to asparagus. Trying to decide how much asparagusing to do. Probably quite a lot. Let's actually move that down to here. Perfect. And I'm a fan of the swivel. They're a little more money, but I enjoy the extra control. They also, I believe, have a better specific impulse in... It's a better specific impulse in vacuum, but not necessarily in atmosphere. You do an alt-click. Perfect. I know one person watching knows what asparagus staging is, but if anyone else doesn't, you do liquid-fueled stages and then connect them with fuel hoses. So that way you can kick off the stages as you go. First we'll lose these, then those, and those. We can even get rid of that. Those, and then finally the first ones I placed. And that way your original engine, even though it's drawing fuel, your first engines, like this pod and this pod, will run out of fuel really fast. It's going to be a little surprising even. Probably to me. Oops. Come on. There we go. This thing sucks up how much fuel per second? Trying to read through this. Fuel, 18 liters per second at full throttle. And this tank has it's going to last like 10 seconds at full throttle. Well, and each of these is drawing. Uh-oh. Okay, let's just check my staging. All of those activate. And we want the main one activating. Now the important question. Will it work? This time I'll probably have to do some throttle control. Oh, game froze for a second. Set as target. I don't actually care so much this time about making sure it gets today. Boom, boom, boom. I don't see any problems. Full throttle. And 3, 2, 1, go. I just hope I put the staging in the right order. Wow, those swivels turn. The whole rocket does a shimmy. And we're already short one. Thankfully, each stage we drop, we have 2 engines less drawing fuel. Right now our consumption's at 53 per second. Now it's 41. And we're shedding weight. As nice as this is, it still does not look like enough. Uh-oh. Okay, no damage to my rocket. Yikes. Let's not do that again. But fuel tanks are lasting a little longer now. Huh, that's feeding down to there, but should also feed up to here. Uh-oh. That's a problem. We're not accelerating fast enough. That we don't want to rotate. Yeah, we're not accelerating fast enough, so the rocket's falling over. So, back to the drawing board, and I am welcoming any suggestions. Hybrid rocket. Actually, hybrid rocket is not a bad... It sounds silly at first, but it actually could work. The only annoying thing is I've got to attach each of these manually. I like to use the natural features on the rocket to line things up. Now I could just do another layer of asparagus, but I'm going to save that because these are cheaper. These are actually significantly cheaper. See, I was paying $800 a piece for the fuel tanks, so each of these are 16 plus 12 for the end. Yeah, they get expensive fast. Oh, these are going to be a nightmare to align. Close enough. Oh, I can do it like that, maybe. Let's see if it works. That's not centered. Nope. Don't need all the liquid fuel. Yeah, I can see that. Especially for this landing, because there's no way I'm burnt. Hey, look! The antenna! I knew I had one somewhere. That actually probably saved right there several tons. See how much that weighs. Yeah, there's that tank. Mass 4.5 tons. Oop. Let's put these down here. Let's try that before we resort to adding more solid. It is probably a case of over-engineering. I'll admit to that. I've noticed in previous playthroughs, my late-game rockets will be these hugely complex monstrosities. And I go back and look at the first things I used to put satellites in orbit. It was like 3 stages of narrow rockets. The satellite was fully functional. Everything worked. So as we unlock the bigger and bigger technologies, my main thing is I do want the lander to be this wide. So I'm kind of enforcing that, making the problem harder than it potentially needs to be. That made it significantly shorter. Full throttle and go! Got much better acceleration this time. Yeah, let's keep it full throttle. Liquid-fueled rockets cannot take off like that. The shuttle takes 7 seconds, or took 7 seconds, for the turbo pumps to get up to speed. It's just not pumping enough fuel to the ignition chamber. It takes a whole 7 seconds to wind up. That center tank probably saved 9 tons, and then this was 4 tons. So yeah, we're probably 12 or 13 tons lighter now. Tank on top of the orange one. Oh, that's another engine. Orange tank is all on its own. This is an RCS tank up here. I just have a couple small fuel tanks for landing. Another engine went out. I don't want to start my gravity turn until... Actually, I can start it now. Or I can do it now. That's what happened last time, is I did the gravity turn too early. And one of the boosters came off, caught the wind, and smacked into the side of the other booster. Okay, we're on course. We got lots of monopropellant. Hypergolic propellant. Gray ones. Not sure. Oh! Not sure you mean these two feed these engines. That's the only place they get fuel. Orange, this is an engine. That's the fuel tank for that engine. This is the engine that will get us to the moon. These are storage. That's a monopropellant. That's a reaction wheel. It's the control module. I think that's about as trim as except for trimming down the boosters themselves. Or the asparagus boosters. There we go. Kind of wish I could see my debris falling. Yeah, there. Because I'm not deleting any debris or anything like that, I get kind of conscious about leaving stuff in orbit. You know what? No, I'm not throttling down. I'll change my angle of attack, but I'm not going to throttle down. It's too bad Science Alert doesn't work with this newest update. So, the reason that the apoapsis is increasing even though I'm flying straight at the horizon is that the apoapsis is beyond the horizon. So it's like saying you fly into the horizon and then back up. I'm examining all my parts. I want all this fuel for these because I don't know how rough the landing on the moon's gonna be. Hey, that's accelerating away from me now, just as I run out of fuel. Kaboom. Unlike the small diameter tiny engine, the large diameter tiny engine still produces electricity. I'm actually going to cut the engine. Warp 45 seconds ahead. I like the warp 2 here instead of controlling it manually because I have a nasty habit of overshooting my target. Wow, right there I'm getting mono sound instead of stereo. Here we go. As soon as that's above 70, I'm cutting it. There we go. How much fuel do we have in that tank? Okay, so the rest of that tank has to get us to the moon, and then use these to land. Or actually to finish the trip. Just eyeballing where to put the maneuver. That's not bad. Puts us on an orbit in front of the moon. It's actually, try right here just for fun. Nope. Whoa. That was actually an impact trajectory. I may have missed my opportunity already. Lunar transfers are not... I'm not as good as I should be. There, I'm coming up behind it. Oh, my logic is backwards. Before I was trying to... Earlier today, I did a lunar orbit. And I kept aiming off. There we go. I'll take that. Oop, wrong button. Warp to next maneuver. Got the nice calming space music. Wish I had the control that would keep it locked on to the blue. It is so nice once you get all of these unlocked. Okay, we're burning 6.5 liters. That's not gonna last long. Well, that will throw off the burn calculation, though. Seconds. I have 10 seconds. I have like 5 seconds of fuel now, and 10 seconds to go. Yep. That will work. Barely. And thankfully we do most of the flight in sunlight. We can even, Really, that doesn't work? Oh, it's because I'm fast forwarding. Uh-oh. Electric charge was going down. That was interesting. There we go. Landing gear deployed. Warp here. Let's actually change to the retrograde. Warp here. 47 minutes. To be fair, though, we are traveling, well, compared to surface, not fast. Those boosters are quite powerful. Let's warp to here. Wow, that is slow. We're actually going a significant percentage of the moon's orbital velocity. As in the moon orbiting Kerbin. And this is why I wanted to have large fuel tanks. Okay. Warp here. I like to do these burns just to bleed off speed. Since I don't have the large landing gear unlocked, I'm forced to deal with small landing gear. And right now I'm having to deal with being in the shade. The best place to land is actually with the cross shadow, so right in here is going to be... the rim of that crater bugs me. This should work out. Let's see. What's the altitude there? I'm gonna have to manually warp. Electricity was going down and now we're good. Moment of truth. It's not quite yet where I want to land. Wow. This is the closest I've been paying attention to the moon since getting this new computer. These RCS thrusters are nice. Let's just watch the altitude. Ooh, a thought. Oh, they don't have quick save in flight. Dang it. The good news is this is unmanned, so if it crashes and dies, it was only money that was wasted. I'm actually gonna aim at the horizon. I'm gonna decircularize. And there we go. At this rate, I have 100 seconds, so a minute and a half of fuel. The thing is, the surface of the moon is not at 0 meters. This is kind of like the SpaceX landing with the... Yeah, with how narrow of a base that is. I'm not super confident. Yeah, a rangefinder sure would be nice. Just for reference. Okay, at full power I can really slow down. Wow, that's getting close. There's part of me that's impatient and the part of me that's cautious are fighting each other. I'm not sure how well it shows up in the stream, but extra details are starting to load little moon rocks. If this works, and there's enough RCS monopropellant, I can even use it to slow down. The monopropellant does very little. This is potentially a viable design if you use a lander can. Yeah, if I got good at rendezvousing in orbit, could do 2 launches, a orbiter and a lander can. I actually brought along some extra science. Oops. I can keep the data and then broadcast it later. Dang. I've already done quite a bit of science on the moon, or in orbit of the moon. Oop, wrong RCS controls. I got my shadow right there. Landing in straight-on sunlight is hard, but we got sideways sunlight. I always thought it was funny. I originally thought landing on Minmus would be harder than the moon. It's actually easier because there's so little gravity that you don't need hardly any thrusters. Those are not pebbles. Those are boulders. I'm actually through most of that fuel now. I'm even using the RCS right now to try to... Oop. Wow. Uh-oh. That's not exactly level ground. That's actually quite unlevel. No, no, no. Holy crap, we are on the ground. Oh, let's turn RCS off. It was just sitting there burning fuel. Okay, let's broadcast this, review data. I don't get all the data. That's why I brought multiple. And that chews through electricity pretty quick. Now, I don't know if bringing multiples will allow me to send 2 data sets and it double count or if it single counts. Collect science data from the moon. That's actually, well, not counting the minus. Before the minus, that was actually more money than I spent on the rocket. World first. Landed on the surface of the moon. That offsets the... Oop. Don't know if this will now work. Nope. I tried doing the no grinding, no science grinding mod. It looks like my only option now. Yep. Only option now is to... Ooh. That goo is still viable. Well, I'm going to count this as a win, though. Oh, that was still viable because we used the other goo while we were still flying. That next time... Hey, thanks for watching, Cameron. Next time I'm going to use a wider landing base because that's rather precarious. But I'm on the moon. It was fun. And that's actually probably where I'm going to call it today. Got lots of science, a fair amount of money. And new jobs. I don't want to adjust orbit. Okay, gonna call it for today. I'm done streaming. It's the weekend now. And I think it's gonna start snowing soon. Alright, well thanks for watching, and I am out.